Behavioural ethics. Behavioural ethics is a new field of study which draws on the science of human behaviour to determine why people make the decisions, both good and bad, that they do. It's an effective, sensible and realistic framework for ethical decision-making that's based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. There are 6 universal laws of human behaviour that can explain why good people can sometimes make bad decisions. They are: framing, moral equilibrium, overconfidence bias, rationalization, role morality, self-serving bias. Framing. People's judgments, including their ethical judgments, are affected by how a question is posed or viewed. When prompted to think of an issue as an ethical issue, people will tend to make more ethical decisions than if they're prompted to think of that same issue as a business issue. Moral equilibrium. People tend to keep a running scoreboard in their heads that compares their self-image as ethical people to their actual behavior. Moral compensation. When our ethical account is overdrawn, we tend to seek opportunities to even the score for not living up to their own standards. Moral license. When our ethical account is in credit, we tend to give ourselves permission to not live up to our own standards. Overconfidence bias. People are often more confident in their abilities and characteristics than is objectively justified. A substantial majority of people believe that they're better than average drivers. 92% of Americans are satisfied with their own moral character. In the workplace, impossibly high percentages of people believe they're more ethical than their competitors and co-workers. 61% of doctors believed that the freebies given out by pharmaceutical companies affected the judgment of other physicians, but only 16% believed that their own judgment was similarly affected. Rationalizations. The excuses people give themselves for not living up to their own ethical standards. People tend to simultaneously think of themselves as good people and yet lie a little and cheat a little nearly every day. Rationalizations are one of the major facilitators of unethical behavior because they allow us to act unethically but still tell ourselves that what we're doing is okay. Role morality. The tendency many people have to use different moral standards as they play different roles in society. People will take ethically questionable actions as loyal employees to advance their company's profit, even if they'd never do the same at home to put money in their own pocket. Self-serving bias. The tendency people have to gather information, process information, and even remember information, not in an objective way, but instead in a way that serves to support their pre-existing beliefs and their perceived self-interest. When something goes well, we tend to be keen to take the credit. When something goes badly, we tend to try and blame others, blame circumstances, avoid responsibility. Summary. Framing, moral equilibrium, overconfidence bias, rationalization, role morality, self-serving bias. The 6 cognitive biases which affect decision-making every day and sometimes cause good people to make bad decisions.